Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Big up to everyone. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Listen, lots of Chelsea news to go through, but the main topic of today is our ability as a club to sell. It's not even a fluke anymore. It's a skill. It is something that needs to be praised. It's something that needs to be studied almost. The amount of players that Chelsea have been able to offload, not even just this window, but since Clearlake and Bowley have taken charge of this club, our selling ability, our ability to sell has just got incredible. And we have generated, everyone talks about the amount of money that Chelsea have basically spent. Nobody talks about the fact that our sales are just through the roof, and the amount of players that we've been able to get rid of, even deadwood players that didn't want to be with us, players that we didn't think were worth the amount of money, players that nobody else wanted, but we managed to find a club that actually could facilitate that deal, and we didn't even get a bad price. How many times can we say that about Chelsea? Just think about it. Think about it. Think about the Mount deal. Think about Havertz. Think about Mendy. Think about Koulibaly. We just sold Madueke, gave her 52 million. We've sold Broja, probably 20 million or more, to Burnley. It's impressive. It's very, very, very impressive. And it deserves some credit. We should highlight it, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. Obviously touching on what's happening as well, and Broja going to Burnley on a permanent transfer is done. That is complete. He's done his medical. The exact amount hasn't come out, but we're hearing it's about £20 million, which I think is great business for Chelsea. I think it's a fantastic deal for us, in all honesty. If any Chelsea fans complaining about the sale of Broja, honestly tell me, if you believe this guy could be a part of our squad, I'm not really sure how to respond to that. He's clearly not going to play for Chelsea. He's not going to play for Strasbourg. He has no place. He has no place at this club, and it's not because I hate him or anything like that. He's just not good enough. It's the reality. When was the last time that Armando Broja had a decent spell in his career? Forget the Premier League, just in his career in general. When was the last time Armando Broja had a period where we felt like, you know what, this guy is looking very good? There could be a genuine feeling that he can do something. And the last time I felt like that, honestly, was when he was on loan at Southampton. And since then, he's had no real solid Premier League campaigns. He hasn't had any. His best campaign was at Southampton when he was on loan. He scored 6 goals in the Prem, got an assist, so 7 GA in 32. Got 2 GA in 4 games in the FA Cup for Southampton, and scored 2 and 2 in the Carabao. That's the best season he's had. Since then, he hasn't had a season where he's performed. Come back to Chelsea, made a couple of appearances for us. Hasn't had a season where he scored more than 2 goals in the Prem. Went on loan to Fulham, that wasn't successful. Went on loan to Everton, that wasn't successful. He's had injury problems. This is an absolute steal from Chelsea to be able to offload Armando Broja and basically make 20 million in pure profit. We're not losing any money. This is a pure profit play. We haven't lost out. This is a youth product. It's all profit. It's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I just want to say, I do wish Armando Broja all the best, but I think it's the best transfer possible for Chelsea. It's good for his career as well. I think it's a good move to Burnley. But I will say this, if I was a Burnley fan, I wouldn't know how to feel about this, because if I'm being totally honest, 20 million, it's still a lot of money. And it's a huge gamble when you look at the amount of football Armando Broja has played. He hasn't played much football. So there's a good chance that play a couple of games and get injured again or whatever it is. So we'll just have to see how that one turns out. But yeah, I think it's a really good one from Chelsea. I'd be inclined to say a 10 out of 10, to be honest with you, because to get that money for a player who hasn't performed for years and years, it's exceptional. Inter Milan has been in talk for in talk with Nkunku's representatives for a number of days. Maresca has not made his departure a must because over the past couple of months, he has actually improved a little bit, especially in the Club World Cup. Maresca believes that Nkunku can be a part of his project. And L'Équipe were the ones reporting on this specific deal. Now, the Nkunku stance that I have is very different to a lot of other people. I wasn't as critical of Nkunku as others. I didn't want Nkunku to leave like others, unless it was for the benefit of his career, knowing that he was never going to get any game time at Chelsea. He was never going to be played in a position where he was able to thrive. It's basically like saying, I don't know, you've got the lap and you want to play him as a cam instead of a number 9, right? You had Nkunku, who is not a striker, playing as a striker, playing as a winger. The guy is clearly better in that 10 position when he's able to get a little bit more central and link up in those areas. And to be quite frank, I do think he was misutilized at times by Maresca. And I think he's been treated very poorly at Chelsea. I think the way we handled Nkunku's situation in January was nothing short of just very disrespectful to the player. And we could have handled that totally different. But listen, we've done it before. We've actually had worse situations with Chalobah. So maybe Nkunku's gone off the hook. But I wouldn't have a problem with him leaving. I wouldn't have a problem with him staying. It did come out with The Athletic that the price that Chelsea would be looking for Christopher Nkunku would be very similar to João Felix, around the £43 million mark. If Inter Milan are going to pay that, then great. But I doubt that they'll be willing to pay that amount in full. I think there'll be some negotiations there. They had a bid rejected for Lookman from Atalanta. So is Nkunku an alternative for him, or are those two players they're weighing up? I'm really not sure. But I do think that, again, it's a fair deal at 43 million. And I think that basically anything over 40 is a fair deal. I think that once you start to get into that 35 million pound territory, I think that Chelsea are being a little bit generous. So I think we're in a position where we can demand more than 40 million for Nkunku, especially when you look at the market and you look at how much Nicholas Jackson could be worth, or Broja going for 20 million. All of these guys, I think Nkunku's a better player than Broja. I think he's almost certainly twice the player that Broja is, probably more than that, if we're being totally honest. So to demand twice the fee, I don't have an issue with it. He's not in his 30s yet. He's still got a number of years left at the top level. But we'll just have to see where that goes. Now, we know that Xavi Simons is very keen on Chelsea. We're now in a situation where basically he's not playing for them. He's not playing for Leipzig. He's not played in the game against Atalanta. He's not a part of that squad because, again, he's keen to join Chelsea. Nothing to do with injury or illness. There were reports saying that he has been told by Chelsea to request a transfer move, or basically speak with Leipzig to see if there can be any moves made there. That came out by Pies. Max, if you don't know who he is, he does a lot of stuff on Twitter about Chelsea. I think this is a realistic deal that can happen. I really do. But ultimately, Chelsea have shown that we're not really ones that will budge on price once we've hit our mark. We don't really budge. We either pay the money or we don't pay the money. There's no sort of, we'll hold out and see if something happens. We make a bid, we'll improve the bid, and if it's not good enough from there, generally you don't see Chelsea moving too much. But if there's a player we really want, we've done it before where we've just paid exceptional amounts. But I don't think that's going to happen because he's got a year left on his deal. They paid 50 million for him. They wanted at least 56. We're hearing about 60 million Leipzig. So it's a profit. It's not an amazing profit, but it's a good profit. And I think that Leipzig are in a position where, honestly, they could probably demand that. And I think it's fair. I think that, if he had a couple of years left on his contract, then you'd be looking at a higher fee for Xavi Simons. So I think Chelsea is still doing pretty well. We've got to be careful that nobody else swoops in and basically steals his transfer from us. But maybe this is one that goes a little bit later. I personally think that we can get it wrapped up in the next couple of weeks, hopefully before the season starts. But you never know with some transfers. You never know. We do know that Hato's completed his medical. He signed a 7-year deal at Chelsea, so that has now been completed. And shortly we're going to see Estevão Willian joining Chelsea as well. He left a nice message before he joined officially. So I'm looking forward to seeing Estevão being a part of the club, what he can do. I'm really not sure what to expect, but I have a feeling maybe he'll have a bigger part to play than people realize. And then again, just a little update on Garnacho. According to Fabrizio Romano, it's something that won't happen right away with regards to him coming to Chelsea. It's going to take some time before we look into it. We've got to sell players first before we look at signing Garnacho. Obviously, the price is important as well. So no negotiations as it stands. I personally think that Garnacho will be an okay deal, but only at the right price. So, don't get ripped off. And I think most fans will be okay because most of the business has been exceptional. So that's my stance on Garnacho. We don't need him, but at the right price, I'm not going to say no. So let me know what you think, guys, if you agree or disagree with anything I've said. And just your thoughts on the market as a whole. Appreciate your time. Catch up soon and enjoy the rest of your week.